Hi, this is going to be the second video in my series of working with files. In the first one, we created a program that would add records to the file. Then we created a program that would that would display the records that were in the file. Then we created one that would search the records in the file. Now we're going to create one that will modify a record that's in a file. And in order for this to work, and I've got my blank one here that we'll get started with, in order for this to work, we're going to use a temporary file. So when we find the one we want to modify, we will write the new stuff to the temporary file. All the records that are not ones we're modifying, we'll write the old stuff to the temporary file. When we get done, we'll delete off the old file and rename the temporary file to the old file, which is our friend file. And to do that, we're going to have to use some operating system commands. This is from back in the olden days when you had DOS on here. So we can do that by importing OS, stands for operating system. It's a built-in library in Python, so there's nothing to install. You can just import it and it will work on here. So let's get started here with main. We're going to set found equal to false again for letting the person know at the end whether or not we were able to modify a record or if we didn't have it. We're going to do search as the name that we're looking for. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do it this way. Normally what I would do is search for the name first. And then once we find the name, I would do the processing. But this will save a little bit of time. The second thing is that if I was doing this, I would ask them, do you want to modify the age? And if they do, then ask them for the new age. And then the same thing with the phone. But it takes more code and all that, so we're not going to do it that way. We're just going to have them enter both of these on here. So enter the search name, enter the new age. And then enter the new phone number. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the file. We're opening it up for a read. And we can open up the temporary file at the same time. Temp.txt, opening this up for a write. And let me stretch this out a little bit more so we can get the whole thing on there. Okay. So now in here then what we want to do is we want to get the first name. And then while that name does not equal quote quote, so we have something to process, need to get the age. Whoops. It's an int friend file dot read line. And we get the phone. Okay, we need to strip both of those, the name and the phone. Get that carriage return off of these. And this time we have to do the phone because we're writing these back to the file, and if we don't take that off of there, we'll end up having two carriage returns on there, and that's not what we want to do in there. So we're going to strip that off of there also on there. We don't have to do the age because when we do the int, that will automatically take that carriage return off of there. So we need to check to see if we've found this. So if name equals search, then we want to write to the temp file. The name, oops, got everything in there, it looks like it. Oh, okay, forgot my quote mark over on this side, which tends to be a problem there. So I'm going to back this back out of here. Get the lineups there. But this time, we want to do the new age. And the new phone. Okay. And then we want to set found equal to true because we found it. Now, if it's not the right name, we still need to write to the file, but we're going to write all the other stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this and then just change the little bit that I have to for this to work. And that is just to take the word new and then lowercase the first letter there. So that'd be age. Oops, I didn't do new on this one up here. So I want to change this one here to new phone, and then it works down there because I copied the wrong one down, so which happened to be the right one at that particular time. Okay, so now that we got all that done, we want to get the next name. Okay, that takes care of the width on there. We're completely done with that. So what we're going to do now is use our operating system to remove the friend file and rename the temp file. So we're going to do an os.remove. And then we're going to do an os.rename. And that'll take care of that on the disk, and then everything will be ready to go when we do something else on here. So then the last thing we need to do in this part of it is to check to see whether we had found it to be able to modify it. So if found, just want to print out a message that we updated the file. Else, we want to print out a message that it was not found in the file. Last thing then is go ahead and call main. There we go. Okay. So this should be everything on here that we need. I'm going to go ahead and get this saved. See if I made any mistakes when we run it. I'm going to save this as modify.py, and I need to put it in the right location here. Save that in there, and we'll run it and see how this works. Oh, got syntax error here, misspelled while. Get the H out of there. Run it again, resave it. Another syntax error. I don't know why I do this every once in a while. There are no quote or no colons after the F on these. And somehow I got in the bad habit of doing that on there. So let's try this again. Okay, so I'm going to type in Bill, enter the new age, 54, number 54 there, and the file has been updated. So now we can go back and look at our file, friend file, and there's Bill. Bill is the only record that we have in there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this here. I'm going to delete off my friend file. Okay? And I'm going to go back over here and open up my add. Add friend. This way we can create a new one on here. I'm going to run it. I'll put a couple of names in here. Age 45, 555, 5555. Mary 46, 666, 6666. And then I'm end it here. And then I'll go back. Let me get rid of my, that's my modified one there. So I'll go ahead and run this one again. And enter a name to search for. I'm going to look for Mary. I'm going to change the age from 46 to 47. And I'm going to leave the phone number the same. Okay. File's been updated. So now we go back and check our friend file. And there's Mary, her age has been updated to 47. Phone number stays the same. So that's why if you were really wanting to make this user-friendly, that what I would do, let me, a lot of things open here. That's my modified, which I want to leave up for a little bit. I can close that one off there. And there's the add one that I can close off. Okay. So what I was saying is that if you really wanted to make this user-friendly, and maybe you could call this version 2 if you were doing this and selling it and then doing updates, is that the way that I would do it is I would ask for the name, or up here, not ask for this stuff yet. Oh no, okay, I'm sorry. Now, yeah, you go ahead and ask for this stuff, but do it with an if statement. Ask them, do you want to modify the age for this person? If they say, then if yes, then ask them to enter a new age. If it's no, you just go on to the next one. Then you ask, do you want to modify the phone number for this person? And the same thing. So then down here in the while loop, when you get down here to do the changes down here, if the name equals search, then you would write the name. You would check to see if they wanted to do the age, then you would write the new age. Otherwise, you would write the old age, and the same thing for the phone number. Else, you would write all the old stuff. Okay, so just something to think about on that. Let's go on to the next one then. And the next one is to delete. Okay, got somebody who political problems, and you don't like that, like what they're thinking, or they don't like what you're thinking, so you decide to remove them from your contacts. Okay, just a little joke thing there. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. Let me minimize that there. We'll do a new folder, new file here. Let's see, I can close off the modify. I don't need that one anymore. Pull this up. So this one is the same type of thing, though. We're going to have to have a temp file so we can write the records to the temp file from the friend file. But when we get to the one that we want to delete, we just don't write that one. Okay? So we're going to import our OS again. So we're going to set found equal to false again. We're going to do a search for the name. Oh, wait a minute, didn't do it that way. Here we go, which. Okay, open the files. There, we got the friend file open. Then we'll do the temp file. This one's for a write. Again, I'm going to pull this out a little bit so it's all on there. Okay. Okay, read the name from the file. So name is going to be equal to friend.file.readline. Oops, sorry, friend file.readline. While the name does not equal quote, quote, we'll process this. Age will be equal to our int friend file.readline. Phone will be equal to our friend file .readline. We're going to strip the name. And the phone. Okay, then what we need to do is check and see if we found it or not. But actually what we're going to do, we're going to check to see if we have not found it. So if name not equal to search. There, okay. Then we're going to write it to the temp file. Oh, I forgot my quote mark. I keep putting these colons in here, and it's supposed to be a quote mark instead of a colon. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we got all that done. Now, the only thing we need to do in our else is set found equal to true. We don't have to write it. We don't want to write anything to the file because we're deleting it out of there. Okay. That's everything with in our with. So now what we want to do is our os dot remove. And our os dot rename. Okay, then let's check to see if we found it. Else we print out the message that's not found in the file. Okay, last thing then is to call main. And then we'll go ahead and save this. Make sure I'm in the right place. This time I am. I'm going to save this as the delete file. Sorry, delete friend.py. And let's check this out, see if I got any errors in this one. Which friend we want to delete. I'm going to do Bill. Oh, got an error there, so let's see what the error is on here. Misspelled friend there, see that there on there, and this was in the phone. Okay, so that's going to be right here. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, I've got another invalid here, age on a read line. So I read Mary for the age. So let's see what I'm doing here now. So let me check my friend file. I do have Bill and Mary in here. So name equals friend file.readline. Well, name does not equal quote quote. Age equals friend file.readline. Phone equals friend line. We do the R strips. If name does not equal that, we're going to write these in there. Oh, I forgot to put in to read the next name. So that would tend to be a problem here. It's got to be inside the while loop, so I'm going to put it right here. There. Oops. Okay, so let's run this again, see if I got this right yet. Okay, name we want to delete. Another error here. OS remove. I don't know why I wouldn't remove friend.txt. Oh, because I still have it inside the with. So it needs to be out here instead. So let me double check my friend file. Yep, stuff's still in there. Checking in the right place. Yep, checking in the right place. So one more time. File has been updated. So now we can check our friend file again. And Bill has been removed. Okay. So that one had quite a few errors in it. Sometimes I tend to do that with this stuff. In a way, I'm kind of glad when I have errors because I can show you how I find those and what I did wrong and fix those. So I'm going to stop here with this video. The last one that I'm going to do with this series will be to take all these and put them into one program with a menu to allow the user to pick out what they want to do. So hope you're enjoying these and you're getting some information out of this. Bye.